We all know that life is short, but many of us may not know that even in this short life, a great deal of our energies are wasted. Such energies might be put into constructive use in life. Our inner conflicts describes this phenomena as robbing a person of his motor force. He still can make considerable effort when put under external pressure. However, he collapses when left to his own resources. The waste of energy stems from three major disturbances. The first one is ineffectiveness, which results from a person's incapacity to exert his best efforts by reason of his inner cross currents. It's as if he were driving a car with brakes on, so inevitably the car is slowed down. Not that he makes insufficient effort. On the contrary, he must put an inordinate amount of effort into anything he does. It might take him hours just to write a simple report or to figure out how to use a new toaster. What causes this varies. He may unconsciously rebel against what he feels as coercion. Like when we do a job we dislike to do, that's normally what happens. He may be driven to perfect every minute detail. That's pretty tiring. He may be furious at himself for not succeed at the first attempt. It's very interesting that this ineffectiveness also shows in awkwardness and forgetfulness. So if you forget things in your 30s, maybe it's not about dementia. A housewife will not do her work well if she secretly believes that she's so gifted and talented, but she's left to do those menial work. It's unfair to her. Basically, she's working under strain. So any work under these kind of conditions is bound to take more out of a person. This ineffectiveness also shows in dealing with people. If I wanted to be assertive and also wanted to comply, then I'll be hesitant. If I wanted to contact other people but afraid of being rejected, then I'll be shy. The second way of wasting one's energies is called a general inertia. Some people may accuse themselves of being lazy, but the author disagrees. She says, they may have a conscious aversion to effort of any kind and may rationalize it by saying that it's quite enough if they have the ideas and it's up to the others to carry out the details, that is, to do the work. This inertia paralyzes us from taking initiative and action. Generally speaking, it's the result of a strong alienation from self and a lack of goal direction. Long experience of strained and unsatisfactory effort leaves the person with a fairly pervasive listlessness. The two factors that cause this inertia is idealized images and sadist trends. The idealized image lures him to believe that he can excel in anything, but the very fact that he has to make persistent effort makes him feel a kind of humiliating. Karen says in the book that while the prospect of doing something that might be only mediocre is so deterring that he prefers not to do it at all, but perform magnificently in fantasy. And on the other hand, self-contempt robs him of the assurance that he can do anything worthwhile. So any incentive and joy in any activities will be buried quickly in quicksand. Here we can see how human gifts and qualities are wasted. Karen, the author, points out that the inertia in some people comes as a result of our civilization in our society, but it doesn't mean that we can give our power away by just blaming the society. The third way of wasting our energies is called a general indecisiveness. Why a general indecisiveness? Because sometimes we're aware we're indecisive, but sometimes we're not aware of that. For the one we know are, shall I have this dish or that? Shall I buy this purse or that? Shall I marry this person or that person? Shall I live or die? The unconscious indecisiveness is a way we unconsciously exert every effort to avoid decision, like we procrastinate. we go about doing nothing. We allow ourselves to be swayed by chance. We may also be cloud issues to a degree that leaves no basis to make decisions. Aimlessness is just an unconscious device we employed to cover up pervasive indecision. I talked about thinking getting rid of my accent for a long time, and when somebody offered to help me to do that, I felt more nervous than excited. And then this makes me realize that I really didn't mean to do that. I was procrastinating in the past. So what really inspired me in this experience is seeing that person, the person who offered help, just got into action like that without having any of the energy wasted. For the above 3 ways of energy waste, the author points out 2 main reasons for that. The first one is unresolved conflicts. You go back to your childhood, whatever adult experiences, whenever you think there is something still unresolved. The second is the alienation from one true self. So we have to figure out, who am I? What are my values, beliefs, ambitions, inhibitions, expectations, fears, vulnerabilities? What I accept or reject in myself. Basically, what I regard as my faults and shortcomings will be the things I reject in myself. For ambition, if you belittle yourself, then where you belittle yourself, where your ambition is. For our vulnerabilities, when our reactions to the external criticism is out of proportion to the content. That's because the external evaluation appraisals validate our distort view of ourselves. For our values, the analysis of other human beings are the expression of our own values and needs. For example, if my partner is more concerned about details, she's picky and compulsive. But on the other hand, if I'm more concerned about details, she's sloppy and disorganized. Understanding ourselves can help us to understand our inner unresolved conflicts, and maybe some of our energies and gifts will be wasted less. And for people who want to learn Mandarin, you can click the pop-up above to go to my other channel to see the Chinese version of this video. I'll put a link below for this book, Our Inner Conflicts, for people who want to understand our inner conflicts deeper. So, see you next time.